Out here back in Clue, we in here. So let's talk more about training past 30. Alright. So the last video was kind of a catch-all. A little bit breezed over a lot of things. Yeah, this glare is a little crazy. And the white on my shirt. But I'm gonna try to keep it short. Today we're gonna talk about basically confusion. So, yeah, there's a lot to be confused about that y'all didn't realize. Because when you're younger, you kind of just in shape as a byproduct of being younger. Why is my camera going crazy? Hold on. See, I need a decent much this thing. Anyways, so first and foremost, a lot of people make the mistake, especially women, of just doing cardio, and then they wonder why, the cheeks is flat, and they look basically the same, but they're not skinny fat. Once you hit past 30, roughly, your muscle mass, because your hormones, they start to drop. The natural muscle mass that you had is starting to disappear. So I believe it's like a 1% drop per year in metabolism due to losing muscle mass, or maybe a 1% loss in muscle mass, which causes the 10% drop in metabolism. Don't quote me on those numbers. I didn't brush up on that aspect. I'm just going off the cuff. But either way, regardless of it's one or the other, so I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to do a bunch of notes before I do the video. I'm going to be honest. You're losing muscle mass. That's mainly what contributes to the drop in metabolism. The other thing that contributes to the drop in metabolism, besides just losing muscle mass, is the fact that you're not as active as you once were. So think about it. When you're young, teens, your metabolism's kicked up because you're growing, you're developing. Even if you're not gaining linear height, your body is still developing. Your systems are on go, right? You get cut, you heal like Wolverine. At least I did, right? Now, not so much. You're starting to get scars from little scratches and everything. You're a different person. You're not who you were. You're not what you were. You're an adult. Everything's kind of solidified. Your body's not ramped up. 2, when you were young, you were in school. What do you do in school? You walk all day. Not only do you walk all day, you have 3 to 4 minutes to get to classes that require 6 minutes to get to. So you're rushing the whole time. And if you're in our age group, which you would be, now if you're watching this 10 years from now, your school experience may be slightly different. But if you're in the age group that I'm in, if you're a millennial or older, then we were carrying them books. You know what I mean? And we had books. So you carrying books, you running all around the school like 7-8 hours a day, and then guess what you do after? Oh, you want to go meet your friends? Now you walk into this house, that house. Y'all meet up. You walk to the house. You walk all around and running all around after you get to the house. So you're going to spend all day ripping and running around the school, running around the neighborhood. And if you got a little girlfriend, little boyfriend, you probably done walked an hour to go see them if they're in the next town, or you have to get on them buses. That's all activity, right? Now you're 30. You got a car. You can drive around. You and your friends aren't meeting up in the middle of the street and playing hopscotch or whatever, running around, going to the basketball court. You might drive to the basketball court, but you're not about to walk 20 minutes to your man's house and then walk half an hour to the basketball court, play 3 or 4 games, walk all the way back, or maybe go get some food and walk back, or walk from them to go get some food to go holler at some girls. You're not doing all that. You cut all that activity out. And if you're a girl, just reverse it, right? So you cut out all that activity. You're losing some muscle mass. This is what you need to do first and foremost. When you go to that gym, don't just hit the cardio. When you go to the gym, get on some of the weights, even if it's just enough to keep your shape. Muscle mass is what gives you your shape. I mean, and then if the fat overlays it a little bit, that may enhance the way it look if you're a woman and all that, but the muscle under is what gives you your shape. Losing the muscle is mainly why y'all flatten out. Okay, so you need to be mindful of that. Let me get I got a fork right here. So, second thing, you're eating more than you used to. All that activity, you're not eating, or you're eating what you have at home. Now, y'all probably think, I don't eat that much. You're lying. I'm gonna tell you, you're lying. You were broke. You didn't have McDonald's money. You didn't have a job, and because when you're more active, you don't think about eating, and your body is better able to regulate what it needs energy-wise. You basically eating whatever you want was you wanting to eat what would match your input and output. That's what happens when you're active. You're not active anymore. You're an adult. You're driving around. You might be on that job, sitting still. Check it out. You're going to be gaining weight if you haven't been gaining weight. Or you probably just gain a little bit of weight because you're not as active. You're eating a little bit more. Some people eat a lot more. Here's the thing: when you sit down and you just eat here, eat there, all that adds up. And people notoriously underreport or overreport how much they eat. So people who say they can't gain weight usually think they eat way more than they do. People who cannot lose weight, usually underreport how much they eat because they don't realize they're eating as much as they do. For instance, I got this. Now I put this in the microwave because I got this the other day. How many calories y'all think is in this? There's 800 calories right here. And it's hold on now. That's good. Shouldn't have ate that on camera. I'm trying to tell y'all, that's one. That's a side. The entree itself is 900 calories. 1,700 calories. The average woman, that's going to shoot her past her daily recommended value. For men, it's 2,500. Women, 1,500. Average it together is how we get 2,000. Of course, those numbers are based on active Italian men from the beginning of the last century. So that's not even relevant to us. But what I want to say is, you eat one meal, you're done. You're done for the day. But you're still going to be hungry after that. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Now, you eat that one meal, you get a bag of chips in between, you eat some gummy bears. Oh, my son didn't finish his burger. I'm going to finish his burger for him. You finish off his burger. Your daughter comes, she got some Girl Scout cookies, you eat some cookies. And then you may eat again after that. Another bullcrap meal. Maybe you go to McDonald's. Every meal at McDonald's, basically, that you eat is going to be a day's worth of food. Period. Or at least half. So you do that, and then guess what? You went way over for the day. You're thinking to yourself, I only ate 2 meals today. I don't know why I'm gaining weight. But your total your 2 meals that you ate, it's like 3,200 calories, and then you added like 900 calories worth of half a burger here, some cookies there, some gummy worms there, or gummy bears, or whatever the example was. You're eating more. Grazing gets people. That's why when I say track your food. MyFitnessPal, write it down, look back over it. Anything that goes in your mouth, write it down. I don't care what it is. All right? Write it down. If you eat a meal, most people write the meal down. But if they eat something off their friend's plate, they don't write that down. Even if you don't know the caloric amount, write it down. You can probably figure it out later. But you can at least see where you're eating access. You're walking outside, a little girl hands you a cookie and you eat that. Put that down. Log that. All that counts. What tends to happen, even if you're overweight, if your weight is holding steady, you tend to eat around the same amount every day, or at least throughout the week, so it balances out. So even if you eat more one day and less the next day, consistently you're eating a certain amount. Track it. Okay, track it. So you can see what you're eating. This is the difference between being in your teens and going into your 30s. Because we know if you're in your 20s, you wasn't doing all that teen walking. But a lot of us still do a lot of walking. All right, we still do a lot of walking. We're still doing a lot of active. We might still go do some pickup games, go play at the park, like some badminton or something. Some of us, are you just moving around, being active, because you're young. And if you went to college, you spent some of them years in college. Now, some of y'all got fat in college. It still applies to you now. If you didn't get late 20s, and a lot of this still applies to you because your activity certainly will be less still. But this is what you got to do in your 30s. The reason why I'm saying you got to do it in your 30s is because it's easy to get distracted. More than likely, you have kids. a busy schedule. So your schedule, you can't really do too much walking during your schedule unless you're super mindful. You're not gonna, and your day's not gonna require you to walk like it did in high school. So stop talking. So if you want to, don't think, oh, when I was in high school, yeah, you were active, mad active. All right. What you ate, not having to think about what you ate in high school, was a byproduct of being super active in conjunction with your body already being regulated because of its activity level to accept only what it really needed, and you being too broke to overeat. You were the kid that didn't finish the food. Now your kids are the ones not finishing the food. You know what that means? Whereas your parents may have been eating it or just tossing it until you eat it the next day, now you're eating the food. So the calories you were giving up, now you're taking in, you're less active. Your body, now your hormones are not ramped through the roof. You're not healing like Wolverine anymore. You basically, now you know what it feels like to really be human. Now you know why youth is wasted on the young. Because all this stuff I want to do now, I would have been doing when I was young. Like younger, like to the fuller extent. Now I'm like, whoo, you're young. See, 30 is tricky because you're not old. You're young, but you're not what you were. People say, oh, you're still young. But you're not what you were. You feel it. They've been 30. You ain't never been 60. So take the lesson from the youth that already went by and apply it now. So when I tell you to go to that gym, be on your cardio, track your food, so you know if you need to make changes to lose or gain weight, because not everybody's trying to lose weight neither, then you know where to make your adjustment. Guys are more likely to lose the weight. We're going to go more into pitfalls next video, what gets in people's way. But guys are more likely to hit the weights than the women. Women hit the weights, man. It's not just about getting your glutes nice and thick and big and all that. That's cool. You ain't have no booty. Now you got one. Now you run around dancing like Miss New Booty, shaking it around and all that on the internet. You too old for all that anyways, okay? But I got you. But what I want to say is that it's not about that. That doesn't have to be your goal. You don't have to try to go to be on swole. You got to go now for your health to maintain what you have at least. You can maybe make some improvements because now that you understand the concept that your muscle influences your body shape, maybe now you can use that to kind of shape your body a little bit how you want it, which you may not have known when you were younger. But don't run from the weights. Younger women in their late 20s understand this now because when we were teenagers, there was a movement where a lot of women got brought into powerlifting, and the NPC started the bikini class and all these other women's divisions. So a lot of women that are now old enough to partake grew up watching that first group of women. So they know they could go to the gym and do what they want to do. The women in the 30s, 40s, they're a little bit more behind on that because that was a trend that started at the age most people are already going to start doing those things. That's why I keep focusing on the weights. If you're a younger woman and you watch this, so you don't realize this is a 2025 video. Okay, so your group is good. Most of the women I see hitting the weights hard and all that they're early, mid-20s. They grew up with that. So that, just in case you watch it. So that's the end of this video. I know it's kind of a rant style video, but I just want you guys to understand that you got to be more cognizant because your world has changed even though you didn't realize it. And there's certain things that you're doing that you don't realize that you didn't do in the past. Holla at you later. How you going at?